Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Did you know that you could receive an additional, above and beyond your disability compensation, an additional up to $3,251 and some change of tax-free money per month while you enjoy this additional benefit for disabled veterans? Stands in the background. He's a little far away. Don't know if you can hear him, but he was excited about that. So let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly, truly appreciate it. What I am talking about here is Veterans Readiness and Employment, VRNE. VRNE is a fantastic program to help you get the job that you would be successful at in doing, especially when you have a service-connected disability that is kind of barring you from either employment or holding employment or anything like that. VRNE can step in and create that bridge into a new type of work in which you can thrive. Now, this isn't just, hey, we're going to send you to a 4-year college for basket weaving, good luck, right? It's not just that. If that's what you need to bridge the gap to get you into the job you need, awesome. If it's not, that's fine too. A great example I like, because it's easy to talk about the colleges and universities, right? You go get your bachelor's, you go get your master's, and most people understand that. There is also other things out there. One example I like to give is the Automobile Dealership Institute. What they do is they train people in a 30-day period, a month-long period. They train them to become finance managers for dealerships, whether it's an automobile dealership, cars and trucks, or a motorcycle dealership, or maybe could be RVs, could be tractors, could be anything that has that type of, shorter term financing. They train folks to do that. They accept payment from VRNE as well as post 9/11 GI Bill, and that covers the tuition for you. So it's not out of pocket. It's a month-long program. Can land you a job that pays, $100, $150, $200,000 depending on your geographic location, of course. I mean, somebody in South Dakota is going to make less than somebody who's in, LA, we'll just say. So let's jump into this. VRNE, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to talk about kind of some of the qualifiers for it, and we'll jump into it now. All right, so we're going to talk about the eligibility aspects. So, eligibility, learn about eligibility requirements for veterans readiness and employment, formerly called vocational rehabilitation and employment. They kept the same acronym, which was nice, the VRNE aspect. I remember when all that was going down and they reached out to, I don't even know how many, a lot of us. They reached out to me and a bunch of my different colleagues throughout the nation at the time and asked for our opinions and kind of just, surveys and things on what we thought it should be called. And they landed on veterans readiness and employment, which I think was a good move. If you're a service member or a veteran and you have a disability that was caused or made worse by your active duty service, in other words, a service-connected condition, and that limits your ability to work or prevents you from working, okay? It limits your condition. This is the first nugget, right? Your condition or conditions limits your ability to work or prevents you from working. You may be eligible to get employment support or services to help you live independently as possible. So if you're a veteran, am I eligible for veterans readiness and employment? You are eligible to apply. So there's two roads here. One, there's an eligibility requirement to apply for VRNE. Next is whether or not you get approved into the program. So first, you're eligible to apply for VRNE benefits and services if you meet these requirements. All of these must be true. You didn't receive a dishonorable discharge and you have a service-connected disability rating of 10% at least. So basically a 10% rating or higher from the VA and you can apply for VRNE. Side note, I applied for VRNE back in the day and was denied. Then, 4 months later, I applied again and I was denied. Then another, 3 or 4 months goes by and I apply again and I was accepted into the program. So it is what it is and your story has to resonate. The bottom line here is that that you need to talk about this as an employment program, because you're not able to hold, maintain, work a certain type of a job anymore due to your service-connected conditions. You can't go into it as an education program. The counselors don't like that. Now, it can provide education, and that's mostly what they do to bridge the gap for employment. So, moving on. When we receive your VRNE application, we'll schedule an initial evaluation with a vocational rehabilitation counselor. The VRC will determine if you're entitled to receive VRNE benefits and services. So it's a lot of power in one person's hands, and I actually saw 3 different counselors, and the last one is the one that approved me. So it's also a personal thing, right? So your story might resonate more with one than the other. If you were discharged, there's 2 different things here. There could be a 12-year limitation in some cases, and in other cases not. So it just depends on your situation. So if you were discharged from active duty before January 1st, 2013, your basic period eligibility ends 12 years from one of these dates, whichever comes later. The date you received notice of your separation from active duty, or the date you received your first VA service-connected disability rating, which 99.9% of the time it's going to be that. After you receive your first VA service-connected disability rating. Because why? You have to have a 10% rating in order to even qualify to apply for VRNE. So most people are going to fall under that. So if you were discharged before January 1st, 2013, you have 12 years from that first VA service-connected disability. The basic period of eligibility may be extended if a VRC finds that you have a serious employment handicap. Having a serious employment handicap means your service-connected disability significantly limits your ability to prepare for, obtain, and maintain suitable employment. Okay. The next one is, what happens if you were discharged after January 1st, 2013? The 12-year basic period of eligibility does not apply. There's no time limit for you. All right, so there's also some stuff for active duty folks. I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to jump over to the pay tables here for you. There's 2 different ways in which you can receive subsistence allowance for VRNE. One is if you have post 9/11 GI Bill remaining at any amount. You could have 1 day's worth of post 9/11 GI Bill remaining, and if so, you need to let your counselor at VRNE know, hey, look, I have post 9/11 GI Bill. I would like to utilize that as my subsistence allowance. What they do is they mirror it, and they'll pay you out during the program. So if your program's 1 month long or 20 months long, you will get the chapter, you'll get your post 9/11 GI Bill as your subsistence allowance up to a maximum of $3,251.38 per month. That's fantastic. That's a huge benefit, and in most cases it will pay out more, I think in all cases really, it'll pay out more than the standard subsistence allowance. So if you have post 9/11 GI Bill remaining at any level, let the counselor know, and let them know that you would like to utilize that amount as your subsistence allowance. They use that for calculation purposes. They don't actually exhaust out your post 9/11. Hence, if you had 1 day remaining, how could you use it for 30 months, right? So what happens if you don't have any post 9/11 GI Bill remaining, or you never got issued post 9/11 GI Bill because you weren't in then? Well, then what happens is you have different levels. Again, the VA is going to break it down by just you and a dependent, you and 2 dependents, and then each additional dependent added on to that. And they're going to also look at your time in school, right? Or training or whatever it is. Let's look at institutional. So you're going to a school of some sort. If you're going under the full-time basis, which I think most people would try to do, and you have no dependents, you get $768.42 per month while you're going through the program. Now, that's in addition to the VA paying for tuition, okay? With VRNE, you can also request other things like I need a laptop, I need a printer, that type of stuff if you don't have that. So $768.42 per month, no dependents. If you have one dependent, and again, this is for full-time institutional education type of a situation. So one dependent, you get $953.15. With two dependents, you're looking at $1,123.23 per month, tax-free money in your bank. Each additional dependent would be $81.85 added to your monthly amount. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.